What's up, YouTube? There's no good way to intro this, but I am going to make a video on politics, broken down into two parts: voters and the people doing their jobs, the public servants, the politicians themselves. This video is strictly focused on voters and what our job as voters is, and uh, how we can make a difference. So, a democracy is only as good as its people. A system is only as good as people, and a democracy is only can be kept as long. We're a democratic republic as long as we can keep it. That was, I think, one of the founding fathers. Um, so, that all being said, before I get into my points, I want to say that as voters, we are held responsible to raise the bar, to be advocates for better candidates, better public servants, right? We don't want folks that meet the minimum qualifications. And a good example is what Musk said was something that I liked a lot, is that a president is the CEO of the country. And I can extend that to the local levels. A governor is the CEO of your state. At the public level, the city level, the city mayor is the CEO of your city, right? So you don't want some guy that just meets, or gal that just meets the bare minimum qualifications to be the CEO of your city. I mean, they could run that thing to the ground, right? So a good example of this, to go into further detail, is that when Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, was interviewing, they drilled him for 5 rounds of interviews, 5 straight rounds of interviews, and kept asking him the same questions over and over. Why are you qualified for this position? Why do you think you can do this job? So if we're that meticulous on hiring a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, where is that level of detail and meticulous detail when we are electing officials? It's almost like if you are, you know, if you're, you know, it's like giving alcohol to an 18-year-old, or, if you're 15, you should get alcohol. But like, is that person really ready to consume alcohol, to, responsible for their lives and other people's lives? So there is a lot of thought and process that goes into policies. So anyway, that all being said, I'm going to give my perspective on this. So my perspective, that few points I've written down, is: do your own research on their policies, their promises, their ethics, their past experience, their vision for the future, um, how they can impact your lives directly, you as the voter. And generally, at the local levels, they have more of an impact, at least in the United States, than the federal levels. But you as a voter are responsible for that. Ask a lot of questions. Don't fall in love with a person or a party. Remember, they're being employed to do a job, and it's your job to find the best candidate. So, um, another example I can give you is when I was voting in Dunwoody, I had a real estate guy uh, voting. That was going for a accounting position, and an accountant going for a real estate position. Like, do these people even make sense at the local level to be qualified for these positions? But no one's asking these questions, and that's what's broken from the voter side, that we're not fulfilling our duties as voters, that we're not stopping and saying, are these really the best people our state, our city, our county has to offer, to fill this position? Do you really, I didn't have the time, but I did question it. Did the real estate guy really meet the criteria to go and fill the accounting role? I didn't have any other choices. Um, so that is what's broken from our end. as voters need to stop and really question, when we're circling something in a box, that whether this person can do the job. Can he learn the job? Can he do it effectively? Um, anyway, that is that point. So person, um, how well that person's employed by you to do a job. So a couple of questions or takeaways, and then I'm going to post a list from ChatGPT, and then these are my own questions. And then I want you guys to come up with your own list of questions and criteria before you look at the candidates, and then look at your options and really question your options out there. Because if you don't question it, you won't have a democracy in the future. Or you will have a democracy, but that's barely functioning, and that's the part you want to avoid. Because on a global stage, every country is like a company. You're competing against other companies, right? Like the United States is a company, it's a business. Okay, I don't. My personal opinion is it's a business. It makes profit and losses, right? I mean, it does a lot of other things, but on the world stage, profit and loss, right? You either are growing your GDP or you're not growing your GDP. I mean, and it's a competitive world out there, so you want the best people for the job, not only that they can work for you, but they can work on the global scale, they can work with their opponents. So think about all those things at the federal level. So anyway, going into it, couple of questions when you hire someone is, would you work for this person, right? If you have a manager that's always late, that's forgetting things, that's being disrespectful for folks, that's yelling at people, that's constantly turning over people in your own team, would you want to work for this person? Probably not, you know? Uh, so that would be the number one thing. When you hire someone, you think to yourself, would you want to work for this person? Do you respect this person? Right? So the next thing I would say, do you think that this person can effectively fix your problems? So for example, if there's a pothole down the street, do you think this person who's making this promise to fix this pothole will actually go ahead and fix the pothole? And by when? If he says, I'm going to do it in my term and never does it, make sure that he fixes the pothole, or she. That accountability should be falling onto the voters' hands, saying that, hey, he promised that. Has he done it? Right? Okay. The next thing, do you think this person will be respected? So by their own party, opposing parties, geopolitically. I also put lists. The other thing I put as kids, do you think they're approachable, likable, So for example, when 9/11 happened and I was a kid, I didn't know anything about the United States, but I saw George W. Bush as I think I was under 10, right? And the way he spoke, the way he moved, I respected the man. I didn't know anything about the United States. I didn't know anything, but I respected the man. So as a child, would a kid look up to this person and say, I would want to be like him? So um, two other questions I have is, are they a good public speaker? When this person talks, do these words move people? Do these words inspire people, in a positive way, right? Are these words driven by fear or by a vision? Because you can drive people with fear, but it doesn't, it ends up in not a great way. So if they're driving people with fear, that's not a great leader. A good leader drives people with a vision of going forward. So does this person pay attention to details? Every minutia of the way you speak, the way you move, the way you shake a hand, the way you smile, every minutia counts, and the way you do something is the way you do everything, right? So does this person pay attention to the minutia? There's probably a long list. I'm going to be posting this in my comments, but you as the voter, I'm going to leave you with this, are responsible for hiring the people that you're going to be that are going to be enacting these policies for you. One last example, in our city of Duluth, where I live, we used to put out trash. We used to put out trash bags. We had to buy trash bags. They're special trash bags, purple in color, $3 a bag. We had to pay for it, and then somehow some person eventually, some elected official eventually decided to replace it with trash cans, which we all wanted. So someone was thoughtful enough to say, these trash bags are too expensive. Let's go replace that with a trash can. And that has impacted my life directly because it's savings to my pocket. So anyway, that all being said, I am just one guy, and I'm just trying to make a difference. And I know this video is probably not going to reach a lot of people, but at least in the end of the day, I said my piece, and I hope that whoever is watching this uses this as a springboard to think through their responsibilities as a voter. So thank you once again for watching. Appreciate it. Have a blessed day. Bye.